When Troy first came in, I remember that he was kind of reluctant to say too much. He told me his name and that he wanted to improve his reading. So we invited him to join a class that meets once a week on Fridays and has actually at the time, it had one other student in there with him. And that seemed like the perfect fit. They became friends and would talk and would support each other. So while Troy didn't come saying that he was looking for a connection to someone else out in the community, that camaraderie really seemed to help him week to week.
I have a brain injury, schizencephaly, I think it's called, which is a cleft on the left or right side of my brain, and it's in the frontal lobe, so it causes situations to not be able to read or function with the more or less sometimes everyday stuff. I just have to learn with it and work with it. Things that I used to do to adapt to people not knowing that I had a reading disability or math disability or disabilities with learning in general is kind of just keeping to myself, really. I mean, I was one of those people who would keep to myself in a lot of different ways because of just embarrassed, you know.
I met Shelly originally as an ESOL student where she was working on her written and spoken English, which is English for speakers of other languages.
Hey, my name is Nia, but just call me Michelle, that's most people call me. I am originally from Vietnam. I came here in 2002. I have two kids, one in high school and one in elementary school, and I am a student also. When I had my first child, and I never experienced about, adult stuff and relationship, and especially don't have anybody to kind of, teach me what it means to be adult and have kids. And without knowing English, it was terrifying and scary. And as my son get older, is the more I learn from him basically.
We take literacy for granted, and so often it is through no fault of their own that adults end up here. And it could be, they had to quit school at a young age, help out with their family. It could be that the school didn't have the resources to help them along the way. And somehow they did get to where they are. And again, in personal life, I think there's a lot of challenges that people deal with.
David is remarkable in that initially we learned more about him and his reasons for coming to Reading Connections, but I didn't really know about his career pathway or what led him to Reading Connections beyond that he also wanted to get a GED. I found out that he had a stroke and also had this really long career in the military.
I've always said I'm not going to, if something like this did happen to me, I'm not going to let it define me, and that I would put all my effort into trying no matter what. If I get knocked down, I'm gonna get back up harder. Reading, like I said, on a third grade level, and I knew that because I was so awful at trying to, you told me to read something, I couldn't, and then asked me what did I read, I couldn't tell you what I have read, and so that really bothered me a lot. That was like a splinter in my mind. Now I'm at a 10th grade level.
Astrid has her own business, and when she came to Reading Connections, I believe her company had already started, but it was smaller. So her goal was to improve her written and spoken English as well, so she would be able to better manage her employees and communicate with her customers.
I came here when I was 26 years old. I came to Miami. I was married, and I have 3 kids. I got divorced when they were little, really little. We moved from Miami to here. I went to school in Miami, but I never practiced English at all. 20 years ago, most of the people was American and nobody speak English. And if you want to get, something in your life and you want to do something here, when the people don't speak Spanish, you have to learn English. And I had to provide, I had to provide. And then when I started working, it was really, really bad. When my customers didn't understood or didn't understand what I was talking. They were explaining to me, don't do this or do this, and I didn't understand, you know. I did understand, but I couldn't speak.
Most people have a secret. At the same time, what most people truly want in life is to be known. For most of our students, their secret is not being able to read well. Not that they can't read some things, but not being able to read well is their secret. And the secret fear behind that is that, and that will never change. And that means their circumstances will never change. That secret is incredibly isolating, as much as any other secret a family might hold. And it's extremely painful. And if you can think of a secret that you might be holding for your family, and that you walk through that into our doors to say, I no longer want to be the bearer of this secret. And I want to make public my greatest disappointment, my greatest challenge, is really extraordinary. Most of us don't ever achieve that level of honesty and self-exposure.
Reading Connection gives me personally a great way of confidence, really. Learning how to read in front of people that I would think would tease me, but because I have that fear.
I'm not struggling with when it comes to people, talking to people. And if I have to go and read something, I can tell you what it was that I read. And that gives me a whole new confidence.
I feel really good. I feel more connected with the people, more secure when I talk, not being afraid.
I'm blooming every day, and I'm keep blooming like larger and larger and larger, and finally I feel like the sun is shining on me.